Woo. There we go. Hello. 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 Shush. Hello. 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 Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It is time for the stream once again. Music's a little loud, right? We could lower the little music. You know what I did today is I actually looked a little bit for some royalty, no, not royalty, but copyright free, like Christmas music kind of thing. Nothing that inspired confidence. Nothing where I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is like, you know, because there's a lot of trolling out there when it comes to like playlists and stuff like that. It was like copyright free, perfect for streams, and then you throw it on and it's like your stream is suspended until you remove the copyrighted material. Like, oh, fuck you. All right, then I'll be a Scrooge. I'll Scrooge right back at you. If you know, Scrooge. We'll all be Scrooges. Hello, I'm Warren, by the way, in case you're new here. Very nice. It's very nice to be here on a lovely Thursday. Just a few days before the big Christmas celebration, like a week away, right? Like 6 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. Well, a little less now because it's rather late in the day, Thursday, but you know. I like the Christmas time. I like the Christmas holiday. I think when you're when I was I want the pom pom over on this side. I think the pom pom's best over on my right. Look better. Is that better? I think the pom pom works better on the right. It's less distracting. You know, when you do the Christmas thing and you have the Christmas celebrations all set up, you know, you have your, you know, when you're young, of course, like, I mean, young, like child, right? Christmas is like the greatest time in the world, right? There's summer vacation and then there's Christmas. That's all you live for. And then you get a little older and maybe you get a little more jaded. You get a little more, well, you know, you grow up, right? You become an old. And then you're like, and then you're not into it as much, right? You're not into it. You're not into it as much because you know, you're cooler than all this stuff, than all this Christmas stuff. And then you have kids, and it's, when I say you, I mean me. But then you have kids, and that completely like resets all of the good, fuzzy, warm feelings about Christmas. Like, it really does. Just sets everything, like, it's a reset. It's like, oh yeah, this is actually really fun. And then when your kids get older, it's like, well, it takes on different meanings. And like over the past couple of years, it's been very, very meaningful to me. I like this time of year. I just like it. I like the time off. I take a lot of time off from work. I don't take all that much time off of work during the rest of the year, so I can just like stuff it into the holidays. And it's like, yeah, don't leave me alone. I'm all in Christmas mode. Oh, we're fine. We're good. How's everybody doing? Nice to see you, Joseph, with it. Hope you are well as well. Very nice to see you. Sports and Things Show. Nice to see you, Carlos. Hope you are having a lovely evening. That guy 64 is here. Also a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel, by the way. Nice to see you. Do not use Lo-Fi Geeks channel. It says copyright free, but if you use it, you still get slapped. Exactly. See, that's the thing. That's exactly it. That's exactly what I'm saying. And Lo-Fi Geek is to be avoided. I mean, I will avoid it. I mean, shush, 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 shush. Yeah, see, it's like, please find instructions on how to use my video, my music in the videos individually. I'm like, oh my God, like, come on. It's just, I just want to, don't bother me with that. You know, it's like, I'm just looking at it here. My songs can be used for background music. I want to support original creators to find safe music for the videos. Do not repost my songs or claim them. Like, what are the instructions? I feel it's just a big scam. I think it's just a big scam, you know. I used their live streams 3 times and all 3 times I got hit. I don't even make money from my TW videos, so just leave me alone. Yeah. No, but that sucks. It's like you try to you use them, you think you're doing a good thing, and you still get that slapped. You know, it's the same thing with Lo-Fi Girl, right? Because I tried using Lo-Fi Girl early on when I was doing streams. Somebody was like, "Oh, just use Lo-Fi Girl." Nope, don't use Lo-Fi Girl. Really don't. Nope. Don't do that. Because what I realized is that a lot of these streaming channels, I guess, music streaming channels, they're just using playlists from, you know, a bunch of artists that they have agreements with, but then, you know, they're okay, they're safe, the channel is safe, but then being broadcast, not being broadcast, but being streamed anywhere else, then those people get hit, which is absurd. Austin Bargains, nice to see you. Yes, tonight we can have fun. Tonight we're getting into a much more festive mood. I'm actually thinking maybe next week I'm going to have some eggnog. I'm gonna have but non-alcoholic eggnog. Why was that so hard to say? Why was that so hard to say? Non-alcoholic eggnog. I was thinking of making eggnog this year. It's been a couple of years that I hadn't done it, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go hard at it this year. We're doing the eggnog. I'm doing the eggnog, but non-alcoholic, and if I bring it on stream, I'm gonna drink the non-alcoholic Dragnog. I've never, and you can check me on this. I've never drank on stream, even back when I was drinking more a couple of years ago. I never did that. I never like started pouring out wine. I think I did it once. I did it once for like a members only stream, and it wasn't all that fun. And I promised I wouldn't do it again. Like I promised I would. I promised to myself, no, I'm never drinking and streaming again. This is just, it's not, it's not good. It just doesn't turn out to, it's not nice, fun content. And there's a lot of people, I mean, who do that, who do their streams and, they have a little glass of something. And, I'm not judging anyone. Everyone does whatever they have to do, right? Whatever they feel comfortable with. If they, I'm not judging, but it's. Let's look. For me, it wasn't good for me. But I don't know how others do it. I don't know how the others do it. And I had friends back when I started podcasting. I had friends. Part of their gimmick was like, we're gonna crack open some beer as we start the podcast. That was their gimmick. That was their thing. It's like, we'll sit down, crack open some beers, glug, glug, glug. And they drink as they go along. And then as they go along, well, of course it gets kind of goofy, but also a little obnoxious. So I'm like, I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people, I don't know what's entertaining about it. Like, I don't want to look at people get drunk. It's like, I've got no interest in watching people get smashed. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Sean, nice to see you. Member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. He was mad the entire time. Was I mad? I don't think I was mad. I think it was just boring. I don't think I was. I don't think it was. I think it was. I think it was just boring. Boring as hell. I think that was the thing. I don't remember exactly. Tim Traver of the Diecast Collective. Nice to see you, Tim. Very nice to see you, brother. Don't drink any alcohol at all. Be 21 years clean in 2 months. Fuck yeah, brother. Congratulations on your sobriety, man. Good job. Congratulations. So I might do the eggnog. Hey, I'm not mad all the time. It's not good for my heart. I might do that. Might do a punch. Maybe a punch. I don't know yet. I'll either do the eggnog or a punch. But maybe the eggnog. I really like eggnog. I don't know. It's a very festive drink. I find it hard to believe that people really don't like it. Maybe it's the texture. Maybe it's the idea of drinking raw eggs. I don't know. Well, they're not raw. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Johnny, nice to see you. Welcome. As a New Yorker, I have to say Jericho is not the king of New York. No, he's not. That's the whole bit, isn't it? That's the whole joke. Dip some Christmas cookies in the eggnog. Oh, like sugar cookies? That's a good idea, actually. Do I have time to make sugar cookies, though? Do I have time to make sugar cookies? Oh, that's a really good idea. That'd be nice. Frank Sinatra's the king of New York. Who is the king of New York? It's Daniel Day-Lewis in that one movie. Gangs of New York, right? Right? It's Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. He's the king of New York. I like that film. I enjoyed it. Jericho's from Winnipeg, sure, but he was born in New York, right? But he grew up like in Winnipeg because his dad played for the Jets. Eggnog and coffee is amazing. Eggnog and coffee. Let's watch some wrestling. Nice to see you. Welcome. Like, just like putting a little eggnog in the coffee. That's probably great. I'm still looking for that perfect little decaf that I can enjoy every day. Because the thing is, like, I can have like the coffee. I can have like your standard coffee, but like not too often, once in a while, you know. But I miss the taste of coffee. And man, finding a tasty decaf is really, really fucking hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. I had almond eggnog. Oh, so with almond egg, that's tremendous. That sounds good. Daniel Day-Lewis' best performance is in There Will Be Blood. That was really good. No one remembers. Wasn't he in My Left Foot? I think that was his breakout role, right? When he was in My Left Foot. Has anyone ever seen that film? I like that movie. Wasn't that it? My Left Foot? Yeah, it was Daniel Day-Lewis. I thought he was particularly good in there. He plays an Irish artist stricken with cerebral palsy. And the artist can only like paint with his left foot, which is why the movie is called My Left Foot. And it sounds like a goofy film, but it's actually pretty good. It's actually very good. But it's what year was this? 1989. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I think he won did he win an Oscar? Was he nominated? Or accolades. Yeah, he won Best Actor. And Brenda Fricker won for Best Supporting Actress. Boy, that sure launched her career. I don't want to be mean, but who's Brenda Fricker? Who is Brenda Fricker? I mean, she's had a, okay. Well, why don't we do the thing then? Hi, Kelly. Why don't we do our little off-topic deep dive here? There we go. We've got Brenda Fricker here. I'll move this over here. Brenda Fricker, Irish actress whose career spanned 6 decades on stage and screen. She appeared in more than 30 films and television roles. Okay. And she was in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Oh, she was in I Married an Axe Murderer? Wait, who did she play in that? Was she the, hang on a second. Brenda Fricker. Mae McKenzie. So she was the mom. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Well, I mean, good for her. I mean, I remember her playing the role in My Left Foot. I thought she was very good in that. It's a very good movie. I don't know. It probably aged pretty well, I'd say. It probably aged pretty well. It won a bunch of awards. Daniel Day-Lewis was winning everywhere, you know. What did the Golden Globes do? Golden Globes they didn't give him the thing. Best Supporting Actress to Brenda Fricker. She didn't win. A pox on the Golden Globes for not even nominating the movie for Best Movie. A pox on the Golden Globes. What is this? Anyway, congratulations to Brenda Fricker for her memorable role in My Left Foot. I highly suggest, like, you got to be, you know, it's not a rollicking good time, but it's a good, heartfelt, emotional, intelligent, well-acted film. You know, it's art film. That's what it is. What did you think of the Superman trailer? Oh, I thought that was oh yeah, I loved it. I honestly thought it was tremendous. I loved the I loved the Superman trailer. Hey, Will Davis, nice to see you, member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Nice to see you. She was not she, but the Superman. Here are my takeaways, right? First of all, there's a good boy in the movie, like straight off the bat. So already it's a success, correct? There's a good boy in the film. You know, I'm kind of, you know, you always think, you know, the Crypto, the super dog is always kind of corny, you know, but I'll be damned if a fucking super dog isn't like, you know, running as fast as he can across the Antarctic plane or whatever. And just like all the snow is like rushing behind him just to come over and give you some licks, make sure you're okay. God damn that. Yeah, like, you know, that's where you get me. You put in some good boys and it's tremendous. My second takeaway is, isn't it nice, a Superman film where there's actually color, you know, and not just, over contrasted, crushed tones of brown and maroon and tan. You know, it's always the same fucking dark brown palette that fucking Zack Snyder loves. I'm so sick of that. Like, such bland, you know, uninteresting visually movies to look at. Now you've got, like, you know, the Superman suit is it's blue, right? And the yellow on it fucking pops. You know, yeah. All right, this rules, you know? It's like, yes. Finally. And Lex Luthor's bald. you know, and he has a gun, which of course Lex has a fucking gun. And I'm like, when you think about it, Lex Luthor, right, in 2024, he can be such a great commentary. He can be such a great commentary character for like billionaires in 2024. It would be so good, you know. And I really like how they were able to manage to make this really tall, conventionally handsome actor, I don't remember his name, but they managed to make him look like a little awkward and goofy as Clark Kent, which again, Zack Snyder had no idea how to do with, right? Because Zack Snyder doesn't understand like real human interactions. You can tell from his films. He doesn't know how people talk to each other or how they, you know, how they bond over things. You know what I mean? That was actually, you know, I mean, I'm not wrong. Look, straight off the bat, if you like the Zack Snyder movies, I do apologize. Like whatever Zack Snyder movie. I think like everyone else, I like 300. I think 300 is a blast. And there's another one I think that I kind of like. And then like everything else is like either goofy or just so heavy-handed and, you know, inorganic that you're just like, ugh. I'm not like, this is not a Zack Snyder friendly zone. Like, you know, I'm not going to poo-poo on anyone who, you know, who does enjoy the films. That to a degree, that's very subjective, right? But Jesus Christ, like I don't know how this guy keeps getting work. Like this is a guy who has failed upward, right? He does 300 and everyone loses their mind. And I agree, like 300 is tremendous, right? But then he does like, what was the movie with all the girls who were all having hallucinations, all the girls in the mental asylum, they were all having hallucinations and they were all like in mini skirts, kicking ass and shooting their shotguns. What was that? That fucking mess. Because that was a mess. What was it called? Like Sucker Punch, right? Wasn't that was it, right? It was called Sucker Punch. And not Spring Breakers. It was called Sucker Punch. Flowman, nice to see you, pal. Welcome to the Mr. Warren Hayes channel. You remember you? Yes, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch. That was a complete mess. That was like such a complete mess. And yet he continues. He just keeps getting more and more money. And then he does the Justice League films. And for some reason, like we are hell bent on defending these movies. And well, you know, when you look at it this way, factually, you take a step back, you look at these movies, and you're like, these are dismal films to watch. They're uninteresting visually. It's very overwrought. All the characters are on the same range of emotion. It's not fun. Like, it's a superhero movie, right? It's not My Left Foot. It's a superhero movie. Can I have a little fun watching Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman just like kicking ass? You know, and his villain, Steppenwolf. It's like the worst villain design ever. Like, why would anyone go, yes, this is good? I don't know. I don't understand. Like, this is a guy who fails upward. He just fails upward. And I'm glad that his Rebel Moon shit didn't work out. We're mentioning it in the chat, right? I'm glad it didn't work out because now someone has to sort of like, brother, we're going to stop funding your films. Like, you tried to create like your own IP here and it just didn't work out. You gave it to Netflix because they're starved for entertainment. He sold it, right? I know how it works. I'm so over that guy. I'm so over it. I'm completely over Zack Snyder films. So I'm really excited to see how the new Superman movie is going to go. And here's one more thing. It doesn't look like it's an origin story. And that makes me happy. I don't need like the 11th recounting of, Krypton exploding, child barreling to Earth, raised by, good salt of the earth people from Kansas, wasn't it? I don't remember. And then become and being instilled with these great values, and then becoming like the protector of the world kind of thing. Like, I don't need that. I don't need the story anymore. I know what the Superman story is, and you don't have to reinvent it. Just give me a good Superman tale. I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see it. And I haven't been excited about a superhero movie for a while. Like, I think I was really looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine, but not excited. Now I'm kind of like, this movie can't come soon enough. There's a good boy in it. There's a good boy in it. You like the good boys. Snyder seems like a decent guy, but I haven't enjoyed a movie from him since his Dawn of the Dead remake. The Dawn of the Dead remake was actually good. Yes, that was the other movie that I had in the I thought he had captured the spirit of it really well, and did it in a way, in a contemporary way, at least for the time. I liked it too, and I like my zombie movies, so I'm very critical about my zombie movies. I liked it. I agree. I'm with you with that on that one. The nicest thing I can say about Zack Snyder is I only made it halfway through the Joss Whedon version and sat through all of his director's cut. Still wasn't a good movie. What a nice thing to say about Zack Snyder. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, 100% glad they didn't do another origin story. Like, that's going to be super refreshing. If it's him moving like to Metropolis and meeting Lois Lane and all that I can get behind, because I think, you want to see the romance, that's what you bring your girlfriend to see the movie, right? You bring your wife. There's the nice little romance, the Clark Kent and Lois Lane. It's a timeless story. It's a timeless love story. It's, they're so you want to see the burgeoning love. I think that's fine, but I don't want to see the whole fucking, oh, he can lift a tractor. It's like, he's 3 years old and he can lift a tractor. Don't tell the neighbors. I don't want to see that anymore. I'm done with that. If I were the Russo brothers, I wouldn't leave the MCU. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I heard Superman was chilling with Dorothy Gale in Kansas. Wanted to see the new Venom movie. I've been checked. I saw the second Venom movie and I think I was like, all right, I'm fine. Oh God, yes. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Thank you for bringing that up. Because at first I was like, who's that? Where I'm seeing like this, this redheaded, fridge built goof. And I'm like, wait, that's the Lantern Corps. And I'm like, oh shit. It's Guy Gardner. They're not doing Jon Stewart. They're not doing for some reason I can't think of his name. And I know they're going with Guy Gardner. Tremendous. I think he's going to be perfect against if they do Superman like a Boy Scout type of thing. He will be perfect if he's the big dumb jock type that he's supposed to be, right? Hal Jordan, thank you. They're not doing Hal Jordan. They're not doing fucking Jon Stewart. They're doing Guy Gardner. That's really funny. That's another big key selling point. I agree. Did we figure out who the wrinkly faced dude was? Like in the middle, they just show a close up of him. The guy with the guy who needs some kind of oil on his face. Did we figure out who that guy was? And Gardner played by Nathan Fillion. Oh, it's going to be tremendous. That was you. No, it was not. Thank you for playing. No, you didn't get me. You didn't get me. Nope, because it's not me. And I wasn't in the crowd either. I wasn't in the crowd either. I know what you're talking about. I wasn't in the crowd either. I don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I wasn't in the crowd. What is this? Oh my God. What is going on? So here we'll hop back over here. Might as well. That guy sent me another just sent me via DMs this thing here. I'm assuming now let's break this down here. Move the chat here for a second. Now let's break this down here for a second. Gentleman with a beard, large glasses, and Nordiques hat. Okay, I'm assuming this is supposed to be me, who does not own a Nordiques hat, by the way. I'm assuming. Saying you can't hate this actually, with a picture of Bozilla, Marigold's own Landstorm trained Bozilla, with some squiggly green lines to imply stench, bad smells, with the caption above Bozilla saying literal garbage. Now, I don't think that's a fair assessment of Bozilla, and I don't know who the gentleman on the left is, but if it's supposed to be me, it's a very poor rendition. References are completely off. I do not own any. I do not own any Nordiques merchandise. No, that's false. I own a jersey, an old jersey, a bad jersey, but a jersey nonetheless. Do I even still have it? No, I think I gave it away. I think. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember. But yeah, so there's that, and I think it's very unfair. And but whoever the gentleman in the Nordiques hat is supposed to represent, because I still don't think it's me. I hope. All I can say is he's right. You actually can't hate Bozilla. I don't know how you can manage to do that. It's very weird. If you manage to hate Bozilla, it's very weird. It's strange. It's a strange thing. You try to pass it off as a personality quirk, when in reality, it's just very fucking weird. Very fucking weird if you hate Bozilla. And just putting that out there. No, but it's not literal garbage. See, that's the thing. First of all, it's not literal garbage. It's human being. Literal garbage is actually garbage. I don't know. Like, that's what the word literal means. Okay. Like, literal garbage is garbage. That's what it is. It's like refuse, trash. Not in it. Now, if you were to say metaphorical garbage, I'd be like, oh, I understand. I see. Now we could have an argument. But words matter, and literal garbage is not a human being. A human being cannot be literal garbage. They can be metaphorical garbage. Is this a little asinine? Yes. Yes, but I'm fine with it. Pretty sure the word literal means metaphorically. You are literally wrong. You are literally wrong. I'm looking at the poll that I have set up right now here on the little chat room thing. Asking all you fine folks as to whether or not you're going to be watching Final Battle tomorrow. And it's kind of shocking, right? The amount, just outright no's. More than half of you, just flat out, no, I'm not going to watch it. And only 9% say yes. I'm probably going to watch it, but it depends. Like I haven't even watched CMLL last week yet. I haven't even caught up with that yet. So what do I want to do? Do I want to watch Final Battle, which is going to be a show that I'm probably not going to be super high on? Or do I just never mind, bite the bullet? And then I'm like, well, I should review it, right? I should review the Final Battle. I mean, listen, here I'm rationalizing this as we go along here. I watch NXT PLEs without any issue, right? At the very least, I should be able to suck it in and watch a Ring of Honor show, right? But I am so completely disinterested in this. I'll watch the fucking Ethan Page in the main event of I'll watch Ridge Holland, I should be able to suck it in and watch a Ring of Honor show, right? King of the North, nice to see you, brother. Welcome to the chat. I'm not a fake CMLL fan. I'm a busy wrestling fan. I am. You got to watch Athena versus Billy at Hammerstein. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna make content for it. Yeah, that's how it goes. I know. I know of two matches and neither interest me. Why don't we preview it? I think we'll just go ahead and preview it. I don't have anything against Ring of Honor, but I'm not spending literal money on it. See, that's a good use of the term. That's a good use of literal. I want that guy to pull out his notebook and jot this down. This is a good use of the word literal. Harley versus Hanako sounds like it will either be incredibly fun or the worst match in company history. Say, excuse me, that was just announced? Harley Cameron versus Hanako? Okay. I agree, though. Look at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view and then this one. The cards are so different in quality. I know. Let's break it down. Let's give it the old check it out here. Got the card here. Let me give it a little refresh if we're getting new. Oh, it hasn't. The Wikipedia page hasn't updated yet. Are you sure? The Wikipedia page hasn't been updated yet with Harley Cameron versus Hanako. So anyway, Athena versus Billy Starks for the Women's World Championship. I agree. This is probably the most interesting match they have on the show. This is probably the match that captivates the most people. I think a lot of people are expecting Billy Starks to win and Athena to finally go back to AEW. AEW proper. And I think she should. Lots of really good possibilities for Athena coming into AEW. There's a lot of really fun matches. You know, she could rematch with Willow, of course. That would be a big thing. But you know, you've got Mercedes up there. You've got Toni Storm up there. Those are really interesting. Jamie Hayter. Yeah, like there's some interesting prospects. There's some legitimately big matches that are waiting for her. So I would bank on Billy Starks winning the title. And look, I think, you know, everyone likes Billy Starks, especially if you've watched her progression from the indies, just like, you know, from being a literal kid to now. I think there's I think there's really something there for, you know, to a sort of a big milestone type of moment. I think Mouse is going to be very proud. He's going to be tweeting out like a proud papa. You know, it'll be a nice little feel good moment. I think that should happen. I think it should happen. As long I just have a good match. That's all I want. That's all I want, really. I think Athena should be on that Fight for the Fallen show. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Stack that January 1st show up. Stack it up. Have Kenny Omega show up at World's End at the end to stare down Mox. Then have him come on the January 1st show. Right? That's what you do, right? And then Kenny can go wrestle a couple of days later in Tokyo. But have him show up on the 1st. Right? That's what I mean. And then stack it up. Then have Athena show up. You have Copeland return. You know, make the fucking show feel and look big and sort of like, this is our statement. We're starting off the new year with a bang, and we'll see what happens, right? What happens. Kristen Ashley, how are you, darling? Welcome to the channel. Also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Who do you think Lee Moriarty is facing? I have no idea. I am actually, why don't y'all tell me who you think Lee Moriarty is facing? I like Lee. I like Lee a lot. I don't want to sound like I'm disparaging, but you think they're bringing in, do you think they might bring in someone from the Mexico? Do you think they might have a little last minute talent exchange and have someone from Japan jump in? Like, is it a surprise or is it just going to be someone from the roster? You know, I think the one thing that I heard is that people are saying, oh, it's going to be Nigel. It's going to be Nigel. Am I excited at the idea of a Nigel McGuinness Lee Moriarty match? I don't know. I don't know if I'm excited about Lee Moriarty versus Nigel. I mean, I know they're doing his Nigel's documentary thing, right? They're airing that. I mean, you know, they could do it. Then do you have Nigel win? I don't know. I'm not that all invested, to be honest. So I don't know. Heading out for the night. Hey, have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you again, Floman. Thank you. Patrick, nice to see you. Welcome to the chat. Have Kenny come back in North Carolina. Going to be Lee versus Nigel for the Pure. See, that's what Lee's facing Cheeseburger. Well, with the reactions Cheeseburger got last time he was on fucking AEW TV. Might want to capitalize on that. They're bringing back the Tates. It's a 2-on-1 handicap match for the Pure title with the Tates. Kenny Omega should return to face Lee Moriarty. Christ, could you imagine the fucking meltdown? Brian Alvarez would just give up. I think his eyes would start to bleed. and his brain would start seeping out of his ears if that were to happen. I think he'd be done. Lee Moriarty versus the lesser known Sam's Clubs guys. They're not Sam's Clubs guys. We're Sam's Clubs gentlemen. So you got the Costco guys and the Sam's Clubs gentlemen, which doesn't quite roll off the tongue quite as well. I personally would not fly in a luchador to work a pure rules match. Hechicero says hello. Lee Moriarty versus Sabu at Hammerstein. And midway, Sabu's like, I've worked, I'm done. You know, it's like, I get paid by the hour, brother, and he hits the bricks. Lee versus Kevin Kelly and the Tates forced them to tap out of the court case. See? Why can't we have good promoters like that anymore? Chris Jericho versus Matt Cardona for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I mean, listen, I don't know. Hey, Patrick, thank you very much for the membership, man. I appreciate it. Welcome, and thank you so much. That's very, very, very chill of you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what to add that hasn't already been said. I don't have that much of a problem with this. There's, the real Ring of Honor diehards who were around back in the day are obviously upset about this, and I understand why. I don't know. Right up until Tony Khan announces whether or not he has fucking television for Ring of Honor, wherever it is, whether it's like on, a streaming site like Tubi or, one of these, Pluto or one of these, right? Until that, or, ends up on one of the lesser TBS, one of the lesser Warner Brothers networks, whatever they are. Like, I don't know. Until that happens, I have no opinion on this. I'll be like, okay, why are we doing this? Because everyone's like, oh, they probably have TV. Well, we were saying they probably have TV the last time Chris Jericho won the Ring of Honor World Championship. Remember that? Everyone was like, oh, well, they probably have TV and they want to stack up the TV to make so that it's interesting so that people will tune in and get some casual people in there that might not check it out because Chris Jericho is champion, right? Remember that it's the exact same conversation we had last time. We're having it again. So I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I think it's, you know what I think it is? I'll tell you what I think it is. This is Tony Khan being too much on Twitter and listening to too many people bitch about Chris Jericho every week and says, look, Chris, I got to take you off TV, but I don't want you to not do anything. So would you mind, heading over to the sub brand for a bit? And you'll still be on Dynamite. We'll have you do little vignettes and stuff. And Jericho's like, sure, Tony, you're the boss kind of thing. That's fine. That works for me, brother. Another championship run. I'll do the Nueve shit. And, Chris Jericho's having fun with his shtick per usual. Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Then there's the rumor that Matt Cardona got a contract, but we're not sure if he signed or not. It's like, okay, $10 says he's signed. $10 American dollars says that he's. See, I'm not even 10 Canadian rubber bucks. 10 greenbacks say that he's signed. I'm convinced. And he's going to work some dates, and he's going to, and he'll probably be able to work some indie dates at the same time and continue his obligations. I have no, I don't think this match is going to be really good. I don't think it's going to be good. Watch Chris Jericho versus Matt Cardona. I don't know. I don't have any hopes in this, Couldn't imagine 2024 Matt Cardona, a contract worth any sort of money. Look, sometimes you need guys like Matt Cardona to come fill in some spots, right? Like he's not he's not going to main event anything. He's not going to be a top guy player. He's going to be Matt Cardona, and whatever value that is right. But I myself, I'm like, I don't disagree with you. It's like who wants to see Matt Cardona in 2024? I'll tell you what though, like pound for pound, I'll take Matt Cardona any time of the week over John Morrison, not Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison's the fucking legend. But John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Johnny the Miz, Johnny Squirt, whatever the fuck, that guy. I'll take Matt Cardona over John Morrison any given day of the week, though. Any given day. I think Samoa Joe returns and gets the belt. I don't think Samoa Joe's returning to Ring of Honor. I don't think that. The King of New York bits popped me, unfortunately. I like the one where he was actually in the like walking around New York doing shit, and then claiming all sorts of falsehoods. It's a good gimmick. It's kind of funny. It's a good gimmick. Yeah, and Kristen, like she said in the chat when we were watching it, she was like, very bold of him to be walking around with a title belt in public. He might just get that one stolen again. It's like, that one. Zach McGibbon, welcome to the chat, buddy. Matt Cardona greater than Jim Morrison, WarrenHayes. No, that's a falsehood. That's false. That's fake news. That's fake news. But then again, you are in media, so you're probably used to that kind of stuff. Nice to see you though. Joe has unfinished business with Jericho. Yeah, but they don't do it on Ring of Honor. Not Ring of Honor. Not Ring of Honor. No, not Ring of Honor. They don't do that in Ring of Honor. They don't do that in Ring of Honor. That's what I'm saying. He'll come back to get his pound of flesh, but why? Don't waste Joe in Ring of Honor. No one watches Ring of Honor. That's the point. That's the point. I mean, everyone seems to love Athena, but everyone seems to love Athena, but no one's paying for Honor Club. I'm just saying. Chris Jericho and Samoa Joe on AEW TV? Hell yeah. Oh no, think about that for a second, and that is very entertaining. That's good shit. If they have TV for Ring of Honor, that's a whole different story. Again, like we're all doing these speculations again. It's like, well, TV. And okay, let's do this caveat here because you're right. Okay. If they have TV, you put Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho on Ring of Honor TV. Absolutely. But where's the fucking TV? We keep every time. It's like, well, the TV's coming. And Tony is so very cagey about it. Like, let's move on. Let's move on to the next match here. I just want to get this ball rolling. For the Ring of Honor World TV Championship, champion Brian Cage will be defending against Willie Mack, Mark Davis, AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Commander in a survival of the fittest match, which is not a survival of the fittest match because there weren't any qualifiers. So it's not a survival of the fittest match. I know they did it last time. They did the same thing where they did survival of the fittest and they didn't do the qualifiers. There's no qualifiers. It's not a survival of the fittest match. It's going to be an elimination. It's going to be an elimination scramble match is what this is. It's not a survival of the fittest match. There were no qualifiers. What were the qualifiers? Oh, there were qualifiers last year? I don't remember. It seems to me they didn't. Did they do the qualifiers last year? Like honestly, my brain when it comes to Ring of Honor stuff is such, it is just Swiss cheese. Here, let's go take a look. Oh, we had the Ethan Page Tony Nese I Quit match, folks, last year. Oh yeah, there were. Okay, there were. Okay, fair, good. So there were qualifiers last year. No, wait. These are the eliminations. Hang on. Wait a second. That's the fight without honor. Rival of the fittest. Finals. Okay. 2023. Okay. Gringo Loco, Evil Luna. Okay. All right. So, look, they didn't do any this year. Is the point. I like Brian Cage. I've always liked Brian Cage. I've always had a soft spot for him. I mean, there's good people in this match. AR Fox, Willie Mack. Everyone's good. Everyone's good in this match. But it's a scramble is what it is. So we'll see. Whatever happened to that Black Taurus guy? I think he manages a Comfort Inn now. Lee Moriarty versus TBA for the Pure Rules title. We talked about that a little bit. Don't have to revisit that. Red Velvet versus Layla Hirsch for the Ring of Honor Women's World TV Championship. Alrighty. I think Red Velvet could be Velvet could be poised for a really good 2025. I really think she is. I think she could be poised for a really good 2025. Doing international stuff and whatnot. I feel like she's hungry, and that can go a long way with me. When you can feel that, she wants it. Let's go. So sure. I haven't seen much Layla Hirsch since she's returned from injury, so I don't know what she's looking like. Hopefully she's in a good spot, and this match is good. Yeah, Arena Mexico did like her. I agree. Jay Lethal versus QT Marshall. What was the story here? Is that Jay Lethal wanted to wrestle in Ring of Honor. He wanted to wrestle on the pay-per-view against, like, it's his anniversary or something, right? It's some kind of anniversary, his debut or whatever the fuck. And he says, I want to wrestle someone, and then QT comes in and he's like, I'll wrestle you, Jay Lethal. And Jay Lethal goes, but you're a scrub, QT Marshall. I'm not wrestling you. You're not a name, right? What was he basically buried him. Well, in kayfabe, right? So it's like, all right. Okie dokie. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, aka the Sons of Texas, will be facing the Righteous in a Texas bull rope match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. I like, I'm still very appreciative of Dustin Rhodes. I think there's still some juice to squeeze out of that stone right there. My sentiments on Sammy Guevara are pretty clear. I mean, Sammy's not the guy they hoped he'd be, that he turned out to be. He's just Sammy Guevara. Look, I don't know. With the Righteous, I enjoy the Righteous well enough. Texas bull rope. Hopefully it's violent. Lots of things coming together, but since I don't watch the week to week, I don't know how to get invested into this. Then on the pre-show, Lee Johnson and AJ Nduka versus the Gates of Agony. Now, this is the kind of match that now you're talking my language here. Now we're getting, now you got my attention. You got a few of the hairs standing up on my arm here. Now this is good stuff. We got something here. Like, this is actually really good. Gates of Agony? Lee Johnson and Duka? Fuck off. This rules. Like, this rules. I'm excited to see this. Dark Order versus Grizzled Young Veterans. At least it's the Beaver Boys, right? Reynolds and Silver. They'll probably be able to do something. The Grizzled Young Veterans had, in my opinion, their best match since leaving WWE at the New Japan show this past weekend, which I reviewed. The review is out there. You can check it out. It's clipped on the YouTube channel. It's also in the MrWarrenHayes Show podcast this week. I thought they had a really good match. It was, I think it was their best since coming out of WWE. Will they be able to get the same kind of thing out of Reynolds and Silver? You know, an unmotivated team of the Beaver Boys. They can't be all that motivated anymore, right? I think there was a time that they were really motivated and into it, you know? And isn't the joke that James Drake looks like Alex Reynolds? Isn't that the gag? Isn't this the build? The entire build to this match? It's like, well, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The infantry duo of Charlie Bravo and Captain Sean Dean. Remember when they were pushed? Remember when they had that dark horse push for the tag team title tournament? Remember that? That was actually fun. Versus Taven and Bennett. It could be good. It could be good. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm really fucking fed up of the Undisputed Kingdom. Just, you know, I think that's the thing here. It's like, I like Mike Bennett enough. I like Matt Taven enough. And I'm just like, Infantry and Shane Taylor Productions doing a merger. Is this like in story? Is this for real? Is this real? That's actually interesting. Zach Gibson would look like John Silver if he walked on his knees. Really? So what are they going to do with Trish? Is Trish going to join Shane Taylor Productions? Who's left in Shane Taylor Productions? Is it still just Shane Taylor and Lee? Is it just Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty? I don't keep up. I swear to God, I do not know jack shit about what's going on in Ring of Honor anymore. I'm so uninterested. I know Trish is with them. What I'm asking is, with Shane Taylor Productions merger, is she going to come in? Is she going to follow? They called back to the Shane Taylor Trish promo from Pandemic. Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. All right. It's Shane Lee and Anthony Ogogo. That's right, Anthony Ogogo. The legacy of the Codyverse lives on. And Harley Cameron versus Hanako, which was just announced as we started the stream. Interesting. You know, Harley Cameron is really turning into an MVP for AEW. Did you know she's a ventriloquist on top of it all? Did you know this? She's a ventriloquist on top of it all. You're hanging on to your Hanako stocks? Let me show you what they're going to look like in just a bit. That's what they're going to look like. That's what your Hanako stocks are going to look like very soon. Harley Cameron isn't as good as Mayu Iwatani. No one said she was. Christ. What? Who said that? Did anyone say that? No one said that. Mayu was picked by Hiromu Takahashi to be a part of his 6-man tag team against Sumi Sakai for her retirement match. Mayu and Sumi are real life friends, right? I don't think there's much of a shock there. That should be a fun little match. I'm looking forward to that. Should be fun. Anyway, that's Ring of Honor. Final Battle 2024. I'm gonna watch it. I started the thing, the preview, talking to. I don't know if I want to watch it, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna. Of course, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna review it, and it's gonna be up first for members, as it usually is. It's gonna end up for. We're gonna get it up there for members. It'll be released later on. It's like, so speaking of, hey, Frets, Mr. Frets, nice to see you, buddy. I hope you have a great holidays season as well, pal. I hope that Ontario cold doesn't get to you too bad. Speaking of the holidays here for a second, I should have done this from the start, but of course, we got sidetracked. With Christmas Eve being on the 24th and Christmas Day being on the 25th, schedule, and same thing for the week after for the New Year's. Schedule is going to be a slightly off kilter. It's going to be a little off. I will not be streaming on the 24th. I'll make that abundantly clear right now. And I'll see what we do for the Mr. Warren Hayes Show podcast on the 25th. It will depend on the amount of content I can pre-record and the amount of content I can get on stream for the 23rd to put a proper Mr. Warren Hayes Show podcast together. At bare minimum, we're going to have this review here, but we'll see how things go in that regard. But at the very least, I will be back on Monday evening to stream. No stream on Tuesday. Probably Thursday. But the thing is with Thursday is that I will... I'm not streaming on Christmas. I just told you I'm not. On Thursday, the thing is that I have company over. I'm having company over Christmas, and on Thursday my company is leaving, but I don't know at what time, and I'm not going to rush them out. And so it depends. It depends how things go. Might start a little later. Whatever. But, I don't know on Thursday yet. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So for now, the 26th is unsure. The 26th is unsure. So we'll see how it goes. Is the 26th Boxing Day? Yes, but who gives a shit? It's like, no one cares. No one in Canada cares about Boxing Day anymore. There's no such thing as a Boxing Day anymore. Like when I was a kid, Boxing Day was actually a thing where you'd go in and you'd have like these ridiculous markdowns on prices, and it's just like, holy shit, It hasn't been like that for years. It's kind of like Black Friday now. Like 10, 12 years ago, Black Friday, people would be rushing in and, stomping over each other to get like the cheapest television of all time, and whatever. Now it's like the There's no real deep discounts anymore. You know, it's when I see like when I get emails, newsletters, ads, you know, from whatever, it's like, come to our Black Friday deal, 20% off. I'm like, that's not a Black Friday deal. Our big Black Friday deal, 15% off. I'm like, that's not a Black Friday deal. That's not a Black Friday deal. A Black Friday deal is 50%, 60%, 75%. Those are Black Friday deals. 20% is it's a middle of the year deal. It's something you do over a weekend. That's not, even Black Friday is not Black Friday enough anymore. It's just all, it's all marketing now. Yeah, see, massive Black Friday deals. $15 off any purchase exceeding $75. You're like, no, this stinks. Like, this is bad. This is like it's legitimately a bad. Holy smokes. Oh, jeez. JK Schwal with the very generous super chat. Oh my God. Thank you so much, man. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you so much for the lovely, lovely super chat. I appreciate it tremendously. Not sure what your streaming schedule is for next week, if I'll be able to stop in during it next week. So wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours. After how the year started, glad to have you back. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that I appreciate it, man. And yes, I'm glad to be around as well. And I hope you have, if we don't cross paths, I hope you have a lovely holiday season as well. Take care of that good pup. We were talking about good boys earlier. We got to take care of our doggies. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. We are allegedly getting Atlantis Jr. versus Mansoor and Shibata versus Tommy Billington. Wait, Shibata versus Billington? Okay, that actually fucking rules. That actually rules. Like on the Ring of Honor show? I'm assuming these are things we're adding to Ring of Honor here. Atlantis Jr. versus Mansoor is also dope. DGMC, nice to see you, buddy. Welcome to the chat. Also a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. Where are we getting this? Let's see if we... Tommy Billington versus Shibata. Yeah, there you go. Right here. It's from JJ, so it's trustworthy. Katsuyori Shibata versus Tommy Billington has been added to the final battle. That actually rock and rolls. that rocks. Let's be honest. That rocks. That's tremendous. And then, what was it? Mansoor versus Atlantis Jr. Does Tony have an eye on Atlantis Jr.? Does he have a... Nothing coming up immediately on the Google chat, but I believe you. No, whenever you started me on before, well... Now, Shibata versus Billington, that should actually be a blast. That should be tremendous. That should be a blast. That should be fun. I'm excited now. Now you're talking my language. You're getting Lee Johnson and EJ Nduka versus the Gates of Agony. All right, let's go. Now we're cooking. Not Jay Lethal versus QT Marshall. You can keep that one. You could book that one on the Beyond show, and I'd be fine with that. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 says Warner Bros. Discovery as they detail the AEW content that is going to be available on Max. All of this goddamn speculation is finally going to end. Well, what's going to be on there? What's going to come? Are we going to get this? Are we going to get that? When are we going to get it? You know, I'm a wrestling fan, and I love wrestling fans, but I love you guys most because you're my D-list. No, I'm the D-list. You're the A-plus audience. I'm the D-list podcaster. And you're the A-plus audience. That's why I love you. You guys are tremendous. But wrestling fans are fucking insufferable when it comes to, I gotta know right now what's gonna be on, you know, and they talk about it in ads every fucking day, and I'm like who could possibly be like this invested in knowing how much AEW content is going to be available on Max on day one? Yeah, like you are not going to speed run like the entire first 5 years of AEW within like the first day. It's impossible. Like it's impossible. Even if you're like, I'm gonna try, you can't do it. You can't do it. Like there's no glitch codes. You can't do it. It's impossible. I'm like, So at least this like tempers. We can stop talking about it a little bit. Slam Hub Wrestling, nice to see you and welcome. Zach McGibbon, you got to be careful with the fake news, brother. It does sound like a challenge, right? AEW any percent speed run. World record 1 hour, 54 minutes, 43 seconds. I'd love to see someone try. Anywho, yeah, the biggest issue now from fans is if the simulcast is going to be ad-free. It probably will not. It probably won't. Like simulcast, right? Unless it's two different feeds, but I would assume that there's something more interesting for advertisers to get their ads. You know, anyway, look, I'm not getting into that. Let's get into this press release though that was sent out by Warner Bros. Discovery on Thursday, today, December 19th. In a press release on Thursday, Max promoted AEW's upcoming arrival to the streaming service and provided some details on what library content will be available at launch. AEW Dynamite and Collision will be simulcast live on Max, starting with the Fight for the Fallen edition of Dynamite from Asheville, North Carolina on New Year's Day 2025. The shows will still air live on their regular broadcast homes, TBS and TNT respectively, in addition to this new way to watch. Dynamite and Collision will also be available to watch on demand on Max after their live airings. The press release notes that all Dynamite episodes from 2019, along with all AEW pay-per-views from that year, will be available for Max subscribers to watch when AEW launches on the service on January 1st. In addition to that, so will the past couple of months of AEW television programming. The language is very vague, not gonna lie. The remainder of the library will be added, quote unquote, on a rolling basis. Whatever that means specifically. Like to me, when I hear rolling basis, that means we cycle stuff in, we cycle stuff out. So I sorry to say, wrestling fans, I don't think you're going to get like the complete library, standing library of AEW content at one given period. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, AEW Rampage, and all AEW pay-per-view library content through the end of 2024, representing more than 700 hours of AEW action, will be made available on Max on a rolling basis, the press release said. At launch, All AEW Dynamite episodes and pay-per-views from the company's inaugural 2019 year will be available, as well as more than 2 months of the most recent AEW programming that aired across WBD's networks. Select episodes will be made available shortly after launch, but after lunch too. Gotta have you can't do this kind of stuff on an empty stomach. The Max component is part of AEW's new media rights deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. It will include AEW pay-per-views being distributed on Max starting later in 2025, but a date has not been set for that aspect yet because Max is still developing the technology for it. Further information will be announced in the coming months. And here's from the press release. As previously announced, AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery will also collaborate to distribute AEW live pay-per-view events on Max, with all marketing and promotion of those PPV events exclusively centered on Max, WBD stated. AEW pay-per-view distribution on Max will begin later in 2025, with additional information and pricing to be shared in the coming months. Well, isn't that interesting? So we have the basis out of the way. We're gonna have the episodes of Dynamite and the pay-per-views starting from 2019, as well as more than 2 months of the most recent AEW programming that launched across Warner Bros.' network. So, we're not, we're not going all the way back. We're not going all the way back. We're not going to have access to pandemic stuff. It's just going to be that for now. And like I said, to me, the concept of this content being made available on a rolling basis, that to me means that there's they'll be cycling in and cycling out stuff. I don't know how regularly, but that's something that they're going to do. They're not going to put the entire library. I think it would have been wishful thinking to do that. However, I kind of would like the idea of the pay-per-views all being there. I think TV, you can make a good argument to not put everything, because I don't think it'll be that significant. But the pay-per-views, I'd really like an archive of pay-per-views. I'd really, really, really like an archive of AEW pay-per-views that you could just easily pull up. That would be tremendous, actually. So yeah, I mean, look, AEW fans got their announcement that they've been waiting for right before the holidays arrive. We'll just have to see how all of this is executed, but clearly, they want to make it a big deal. They're starting to promote the launch of the service the streaming on January 1st, and AEW stacking up the show. It'll be very interesting to see how all this shakes out, of course, but I think the days of having like a one-stop shop for all of your wrestling watching desires and needs, I think that's we're done now. I think that's thing of the past. If WWE, here's the plain simple truth here. If WWE wasn't able to turn a profit when they had everything, I don't know what money there is to make on it. I don't know what money there is to make on a back catalog of pro wrestling. I don't. Not saying that the back catalog should not be accessible. It should be for historical purposes. It should absolutely not be locked behind a vault and drip fed to the whims of a corporation. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. But hey, that's that was the state of the business for years. And they got all the tapes, they being WWE. So there you go. Hey, Boris, nice to see you. Merry Christmas to you. Well, thanks for popping by. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Hope we get Mid-South and World Class Championship Wrestling on Max. Doubtful. Pretty sure WWE has those. They're not giving it away. They're going to edit out Fragile Phil and Diddy Havoc. How did the also? Oh no. Oh no. Shortly after lunch, you can have 2021 AEW when you finish your broccoli. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty excited for a hopefully cheaper pay-per-view option for AEW. Don't hold your breath on the cheaper. I mean, like, okay. I would assume that they'll probably do something along the lines of, if you don't have a Max subscription, you pay like a full price kind of thing. But if you have a Max subscription, the pay-per-view will cost you X% less, maybe 10, 15% less. And that's nonetheless significant, don't get me wrong, but I would think that's what they're going to do. But then again, this is, Warner Bros. Discovery wants to make all the money, not just money, all the money. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, in the absolute slightest, if they just like flipped it all around and just like, no, here we go. Full price. We were charging at full price, and now we get to keep everything. We don't have to split the money with a distributor partner. We get to keep the, whatever it was, the 40%, the 50% take that Triller takes, or, whatever. You get to keep it all. Corporations are greedy, man. Don't forget that. Silver Apocalypse, nice to see you, buddy. Welcome to the chat. It's very nice to see you. Also a member of the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. Big Man Dogs, nice to see you. Welcome as well. I think they said that the old stuff is not seen as valuable, so they will just upload stuff to the WWE Vault channel. Oh, I know. They don't see value in it. They don't see value in it because they tried to build the WWE network around that concept, like an all-you-can-eat buffet of pro wrestling goodness, right? And like nothing came out of it, right? It could lead to more stuff being lost media. Absolutely. That's why, it's like, I know a lot of people who archive pro wrestling, who archive pro wrestling matches. And, you could, it's piracy, but also not. Like, someone has to be archiving this. Someone has to be making a record of this, of the history of pro wrestling. Because look how fragile it is. WWE has everything. We're just going to drip feed it through the WWE Vault. And then people are going to go, oh, the WWE Vault is so great. Yeah, but you could also give access to everything. I wonder what the tapes, legitimately though, I wonder what the tapes are worth now in WWE's business right now. Because whatever money they're making off the Vault in YouTube ad revenue is so fucking negligible as opposed to everything else the company does. Have you ever thought of that? What are the tapes worth now, today, for WWE as opposed to 10 years ago? It's probably such a paltry sum. Ridiculous. At this point, it's just control, because they just don't want people to start putting out, WCW DVDs or ECW DVDs. That's essentially what it is. WWE should eventually have the archive on a channel on Pluto TV or something similar to that. That would actually be pretty cool. Just like stream it and let it go. Absolutely. I think it's a good idea. Cornet has a bigger library on VHS than the Fed network, you think? I hear Dave has a pretty big one too. That's not terrible. Max already has my money for Creature Commandos. Did you watch today's Creature Commandos? I watched Creature Commandos today before starting up the stream. And I was not ready for such a fucking gut punch. Like something that would tear my insides out. Fuck. I cannot, I've said it once and I'll say it again. I cannot recommend Creature Commandos enough. If you're into the Spider-Man, not the Spider, the Superman trailer, and you're like, go, James Gunn, go watch Creature Commandos. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. But today's episode, man, that'll shake you. It gets you right at the core, man. I was not expecting that. Biggest non-problematic in what if in wrestling is Tony Khan buying the PWG catalog and putting it on Max. That would actually rule. That would actually get a lot of traction because that's something that a lot of people have never seen, like in its entirety. That would, I mean, what is Super Dragon doing with it? What is Super Dragon doing with it? He's still printing DVDs. Yeah, but I mean, he can't be still like, he could be making, a big lump sum of money here. And then he'd just go retire. And Excalibur's right there. Like, I'm pretty sure Excalibur, like, can we just make some money off of this? PWG's dead now, regardless, right? Anyway. Worst case scenario is that it's a UFC deal. Yeah, for the streaming, yeah, I agree. That would be the worst case. Hey, Fred, nice to see you, buddy. Member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. Good to see you, man. The Good, the Bad, and the Hungry podcast as well. Name one corporation that's greedy. Wendy's. I was asked to show my in-laws wrestling, and I showed them Kabashi Sasuke from 2005. Hell yeah. And Kong Toyota 1995. Kong Toyota 1995 is, what venue was that? Was it a Korakuen show? I'm trying to place it. Or a Budokan? Anyway, I can't remember. There's some pro wrestling in-laws. Do you think WWE Vault will start doing ad reads like regular YouTubers like Triple H just starts doing Raid Shadow Legends in the middle of a 2006 SmackDown Dark match? Yeah, that's actually pretty. It's not gonna start. You have Triple H to talking about fume. When I want to break my break my bad habit, I pull out fume. It's made out of wood, mahogany, and it has a nice. You can fidget with it. There's even a nice little spinner that you can fidget with it. It'll help you break your bad habits. My favorite flavor is blueberry vanilla. Use codes gamer. One good thing about the Vault channel is that it exposes people to some of the old stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think for people like myself who keep screaming at the wall, it feels sometimes that people should watch more old wrestling. They should they should watch anything else than what is presented right in front of their eyes. The vault has the potential to turn that audience into, to turn the curiosity on, right? It has the potential. Will it do it? That's a whole other thing. But when you see Amazing Red versus CM Punk showing up there, and you're like, if you're even remotely curious, you're like, who's this Amazing Red guy? Now, granted, the dark match, the tryout match that Amazing Red had with CM Punk was garbage. Like, one of the worst. Like, I could not imagine how nervous Amazing Red was to be so bad in that match. Someone looks at that and like, I'm not, who is this guy? But maybe it wasn't a good example as a match. But, WWE is mainstream. And if the mainstream says, well, these little historical matches are cool. Oh, maybe. High Spots would probably want a pretty penny for that PW catalog, no? Yeah, but they'd probably want it. How much leverage do they have? As opposed to billionaire Tony Khan, Here's the thing. Let's be honest. If Tony Khan wanted the footage, he could buy it. Let's just be real. He could sit down with Super Dragon and Excalibur and whoever at High Spots and just be like, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to open the pockets and I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. If you say no to this offer, you guys are goofs. You're goofballs. You're watching one of the best holiday movies ever, Kristen. What is the best holiday movie? One of the best holiday movies ever that you're watching right now? My favorite G Fuel flavor is steroids. Code Lemmy was my friend. Now I wouldn't job for anybody. But one entity everyone jobs to is data theft. Everyone by Norton VPN. Let me introduce you to Proton VPN. This shit writes itself. Who are we kidding? Triple H doesn't have the heart to do those ad reads. Yeah, I know. Like, Triple H, he really doesn't like to be at the center of attention. He hates being on TV. He hates having, Of course. I feel they should start making some sort of compilation videos on all storylines and match series. Sure, that could be fun. But then again, like it depends on the amount of effort that puts in that they put in regards to putting the stuff together and then releasing it on YouTube. Like, again, like I'm sure they make good money off of YouTube ads. But it is a fraction of what they're making overall, right? It's inevitably like pennies as opposed to it's pennies. Pennies. Amazing Red, the guy who stole Liv's finish. Boo! Unrelated, Die Hard, Alan Rickman will go down in history as the baddest motherfucker. That's true. High Spots doesn't own the PWG footage. They just distributed their stuff. Okay. I'll let the lawyers figure it out. The poor guy, we're talking about Triple H here. The poor guy can't stand being on screen. They keep cutting to him on Raw and SmackDown and SNME and PLE and main events, and he is forced to make an appearance. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. I know, it's tremendous how they can get him on TV all the time when he really doesn't want to. When he really does not want to. can't believe it. Makes you wonder what they have on him. They're blackmailing him, I'm sure. Let's see. Okay, I want to read this. It's a little more somber in tone, but I think it's important that we have a little read here in regards to this this NDA situation with BJ Whitmer's former partner Jamie Hahn. I wasn't paying much attention to it. I saw it arrive and I was like, look, I saw it show up in tweets, and then there was a GoFundMe. There was talk about homelessness and how AEW was responsible to some degree. And I was like, look, I am not going to jump on this. I'm going to let this breathe for a couple of days, right? At least 24 hours or so. I'm going to let this breathe. Let this story come together before I jump in and I start, Warren Hayesing it up. And we got Brandon Thurston here over at Post Wrestling, who seems to have gotten everything in order here, right? See, that I'm with Big Man Dogs here. Like, the last I heard of it was that Miro donated like $500 or something, right? And it just came out of nowhere, and it all seemed like it was one of these situations that's both sad and unhinged, right? I'm like, okay, I'm good. Just gonna give it some time to breathe. Let the reporters do the reporting, and then we'll circle back. We'll circle back around to it. So this is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna check out this. We're gonna read this bit here from an article on Post Wrestling about the whole Jamie Hahn AEW NDA situation. Let's see what this is all about. All right. And I promise you, I'm going in blind. I haven't pre-read this. I'm just like, oh, thank God. I was like, okay, good. And it's Brandon who put this together. I'm in full confidence. Let's go ahead. Jamie Hahn, ex-partner of wrestler BJ Whitmer, has gone public with allegations of mistreatment by AEW's legal team. Hahn claims that AEW General Counsel Chris Peck breached a non-disclosure agreement she signed with the company in 2023. She alleged this week in a GoFundMe post that Peck shared details of communications between her and AEW, including a non-disclosure agreement with attorneys for Whitmer, who was a defendant in a criminal trial charged with first-degree strangulation and second-degree burglary against Hahn, alleged to have occurred on June 4th, 2023. Do we need to go back and revisit the BJ Whitmer situation? Maybe we could just pull it up real quickly. It's not very long. We'll just refresh our memories as to what maybe is the impetus here. Earlier this month, this was on June 23, 2023. So last year. Earlier this month, BJ Whitmer, Benjamin Whitmer, was released by AEW after he was arrested on domestic violence charges. Under the condition of anonymity, the alleged victim spoke with Fox 19 and stated that she had dated Whitmer and was assaulted following their breakup. The victim stated that she entered her home and was inside at the top of the steps waiting for her. Here's her quote. "I was literally fighting for my life, and he squeezed tighter, and I said, 'I'm going to fucking kill you. Do you hear me? I'm going to kill you.' Instead of coughing, I lied and said I already called the cops. And the second I said that, he let go." The incident report stated that the officers could detect red marks and bruising on the victim's neck. The woman states she has added security cameras to her home and noted she doesn't feel safe. Whitmer was arrested in Boone County on June 4 and was released 8 days later on a $25,000 bond. AEW has issued the following termination notice on June 12. BJ Whitmer has been terminating following his arrest on domestic violence charges. While talent and staff are ultimately responsible for their own personal actions, this behavior is intolerable within AEW. AEW has reached out to offer support to those impacted by his behavior. Whitman had been working with both AEW and Ring of Honor and was used on camera as a judge during several of the Ring of Honor Pure Championship matches. All right, so we got that out of the way. Let's continue where we're at right now with the current situation. A legal filing submitted earlier this year by the prosecuting attorney in Whitmer's case indicates AEW shared information with Whitmer's attorneys as part of the discovery process, leading to the disclosure of financial assistance and a settlement provided by AEW to a person whose name is redacted in the filing post-wrestling reviewed, but whose identity is consistent with that of Han. Han, however, alleges Peck shared information with Whitmer's counsel without being subpoenaed or having any legal obligation whatsoever, and despite the date time stamped documentation of my every interaction with AEW, Chris Peck wrongfully provided an inaccurate description of my intentions and false context of my engagement with AEW Mega Perek dating back to June 2023. Right, so already it's like, it's not good, right? Like, your attorney who's looking out for you should not be sharing privileged information with, lawyers who are sticking up for a guy, for the defense, basically representing a guy who physically assaulted you and who's being charged with assault. Like, that doesn't make sense. AEW representatives were contacted by Post Wrestling for this story, including to comment on whether AEW complied with the subpoena or other legal obligation when sharing information with Whitmer's legal team. This report will be updated if AEW responds. Generally, non-disclosure agreements create a confidential relationship between the parties, but they don't prevent those parties from being required to comply with subpoenas or potentially other legal proceedings. Makes sense. Just because you send an NDA doesn't mean you're above the law. Right, Vince McMahon? Whitmer, who worked for AEW as a producer and coach before being let go around the time of his charges, took a plea deal in the case and was sentenced to 120 days of home incarceration with 5 years probation. Han says she is the mother of 3, is now homeless, and is at risk of losing custody of her children due to a Child Protective Services investigation because of her homelessness. She made public statements for the first time this week about her dealings with AEW's legal team to receive aid and get back on her feet. Han says in June 2023, she contacted AEW's then Chief Legal Officer Mega Perek to inform her of Whitmer's arrest. After Han shared details related to the incident with Perek, Whitmer had his contract with the promotion terminated that year following his arraignment. Han wrote that in the following months, AEW provided her with therapy, a home security system, and a security detail for an emergency protective order hearing. She also describes conversations with AEW about quote-unquote policy changes regarding domestic violence policy within the company and raising awareness on the issue. Han said she was receiving support from Perek, however, claims things changed once Peck took over Perek's role in September 2023. Okay, let's hang on a bit. I've got some thoughts, but let's keep moving. Peck, who Han said asked her to share what had previously happened, was told to forward all of the evidence she had already shared before to him. This was a process Han said was re-traumatizing and unnecessary, since she claimed past details documented by Perek had been provided to him already. That is fucking weird. Like, that is really, really weird. Like, I can understand there's a changing of the guard, but if you're if you're going from chief legal officer to another chief legal officer, they should have access to all the same files and, dossiers and information. And this is really weird. Here's a quote. There is nothing natural or reasonable about that general question when you are asking a domestic violence victim to relive and explain the trauma they barely survived, Han wrote. That's really weird. Like there's no way Peck really needed to, like, this isn't like, could you share me the Google Doc? It's like, it's not something like that. I can't find it. Just share it again. I'm trying to search for it, but I can't find it. I don't remember the title. Like, that's wild. Han recalled being asked by Peck if there was a final amount that could be paid to make this quote unquote go away. Christ. He seems like a jam up guy. The next time Han and Peck spoke, outside legal counsel representing AEW was also present. She recounted the outside attorney accusing her of threatening AEW for financial gain. What? Han recalled being told by Peck that she had to sign a non-disclosure agreement in order to receive a payment from AEW. She alleged that the deal included confidentiality for all parties unless court-ordered or subpoenaed. It was after this agreement was signed, Han says, that Peck sent his details over to Whitmer's legal team and allowed the information to be submitted in his criminal case. That is incredible. She claims the information was not subpoenaed, making the incident a breach of their NDA. I think that is nuts. I think that is absolutely fucking bonkers if that is indeed what happened. Like, of course, this is all stuff that she's alleging, right? But Christ. I, from the beginning, was not looking for anything but empathy and someone to help me out of the most challenging situation I've ever been in, Han wrote in her post. Mega Perek lifted me up. Chris Peck painted me as a hysterical woman. The initial crime was painful enough. Peck made all my worst fears as a victim come true. Jesus Christ. A court filing submitted by the Commonwealth of Kentucky's Attorney's Office on March 1st, 2024, states that Whitmer entered his ex-partner's home using a door code, leading to a confrontation during which he applied pressure to the victim's neck, causing visible injuries. The victim, whose name is redacted in the filing we obtained, but whose identity aligns with that of Jamie Hahn, contacted 911 911 immediately after Whitmer left the premises. The sentencing memorandum also highlights AEW's involvement in the case, stating that the companies disclosed details of a financial settlement with the victim to Whitmer's defense counsel, which became part of the case's discovery. Prosecutors learned that the victim received financial support from AEW amounting to over $40,000 shortly after the incident. This included a settlement agreement facilitated through communications between the victim and AEW's legal team. Initially unaware of the settlement, prosecutors noted that its disclosure required them to reconsider how they approached the sentencing. The Commonwealth was aware that Redacted had been in contact with AEW shortly after the incident. However, the extent was unknown, the prosecuting attorney wrote. Defense counsel first provided the Commonwealth with confirmation that Redacted had been given financial assistance and a settlement from AEW. The Commonwealth was required to let defense know that they were unaware of any such agreement. AEW reached out to Redacted to notify her that they had been contacted by defense counsel. Redacted then reached out to the Commonwealth to explain the timeline of events leading to that settlement. prosecutors anticipated that the victim would testify her emails to AEW were intended to share information rather than seek compensation. However, the prosecutors acknowledged that those communications could be interpreted differently by a jury. All right. That may be a little misstep on her part. Probably didn't have legal representation because probably a lawyer would have said, don't get in contact with them. She probably didn't have a lawyer backing her up, but she was like, this all seems in such good faith, right? And, she seemed to have good communications with Mega Perek, who seemed to be sympathetic to what was going on. And, she probably felt very comfortable doing so because there was like, well, look, we have to share information here. We have to be able to share some information. I mean, this is not a pretty picture. And Mega Perek, she left AEW, right? In 2023, September 2023, right? She left AEW, and I'm sure you all remember why. Because of this is another casualty of the CM Punk nonsense, right? Because this is a post All In Jack Perry incident situation, right? And she gets dragged into this, and the bad faith grifters start blaming her for a bunch of shit, and she's like, "Look, I don't need this bullshit. I don't need wrestling fans, calling for my demise and worse." I don't remember if you recall some of the absolute vile bullshit that was being put around the internet in regards to Perek back then. And she was she probably still is, a lawyer, probably well trained. It's like, I could work at just about any other corporation that I want. I'm not gonna deal with this. These fucking weirdo wrestling fans. And everything that we've always heard about Perek, right, was that she was really chill, a nice person to work with. You only ever heard good things about her. And it's funny, this Chris Peck character, right? He came up in Ryan Nemeth's story that came out 2 weeks ago at this point, and didn't quite paint him in a particularly charming light either. Kind of turns out that this Chris Peck just might be a bit of an asshole. He wasn't very chill in the assessment from Nemeth. I can't remember off the top of my head. But let's have a little quick trip down memory lane. Chris Peck. Right, because again, Nemeth was talking with Perek in this situation, right? If you recall, and then things were switched over to Peck when Mega decided to leave, right? Now, if we go back to this wrap-up report from Figure 4 Online, the report stated that Chris Peck of AEW's legal team reached out to work out a settlement with Nick Nemeth for Ryan Nemeth, excuse me. For approximately 3 years' salary in exchange for an NDA following the submission of the timeline, assumed to be in September 2023, while he was still with the company. And in September 2023, Mega Perek was no longer with the company. Nemeth says he was interested and wanted to discuss it more before being told it was pulled off the table for reasons that are unclear. He also claimed Peck, who took over for Perek, threatened to sue him about the timeline at one point, and that Peck said he would be placed in an antagonistic position to Mega if the situation went to arbitration. It kind of sounds like a sleaze bag. Kind of sounds to me like he's not necessarily a cool guy. Doesn't sound like a cool guy to me. Now that we have this this whole information about what happened to Ms. Han, Jamie Han, on top of that. Doesn't sound like exactly a people person. Sounds like a guy, you know, he sits everyone down. If we go back to the Jamie Han thing, you know, it's kind of baffling because he sits everyone down and we've got outside counsel to come and litigate this further. And I can understand like AEW's position in this is probably very defensive, but, you know, sits everyone down and where was the thing here? Yeah, here we go. Outside legal counsel representing AEW was also present the next time that Han and Peck spoke, and the outside attorney accused her of threatening AEW for financial gain. And this is someone who just got choked the fuck out by one of the employees. And Mega was like, look, we'll take care of you. We'll put security systems around your house, so on and so forth. Now, I don't know why she's homeless now. I thought this report would clarify what the hell's going on. I don't know why she's homeless. I don't know why she's in this untenable situation, that she's on the verge of losing her children. Like, I don't know why all of this is happening. Because the report here doesn't make it clear, or at least it's not connected to AEW specifically, right? That's the thing. And you know, like, the guy took a plea, Whitmer, probably because he knew, like, probably because he knew that he could never like win in any situation here. So he's like, okay, he takes the plea, serves 120 days, you know, on house arrest, which is like, all right, fine. You know, you got Netflix, you got your Paramount Plus, you got your HBO Max. You can play a little Fortnite. Like you order Uber Eats every day. Who the fuck cares, really, right? For 3 months, 120 days. No, that's 6 months. No, that's 4 months. When I tell you guys I'm bad at math, I am not kidding. That's 6 months. 4 months. 4 months. Fuck. I mean, if what she's putting forward here is true, like, you know, that AEW was accompanying her, that was great. But, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm completely heartless or whatnot, but what responsibility did AEW have moving forward here? You know, I don't want to sound completely heartless, but I also think, I don't know. I'm just trying to, there's dots that I'm failing to connect, and maybe they're right there and I don't see them. You know, AEW provided her with therapy, a home security system, security detail, you know. You know, she describes conversations with AEW about policy changes. That's all great, you know. But like, I think it's already above and beyond kind of thing. It's very cool. Maybe Peck should have just paid out and it would have been done, right? But from the minute he's like, oh, could you send me all your stuff? Send me all the evidence, right? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay. It's a terrible thing that's happened to her. But like, I'm trying to connect the dots here. I'm trying to find, and maybe there's, again, like maybe there's just some legal things in regards to, you know, corporations and their staff and how they behave, and maybe this is just like all par for the course kind of thing. And I just, you know, showing support for spouses of that are victims of domestic abuse. I'm trying to connect the dots and I don't quite understand. And I don't understand how she's homeless now. Like, I don't understand how that works out. Did she lose her job because she was in no mental state to work, for instance? Which is possible, entirely possible. She's got some kind of PTSD. She can't go to work. She can't hold a day job. That's absolutely fair. You know, she's on the verge of losing her kids. That's awful. Like, that's legitimately awful. But I'll tell you one thing, this Peck guy could have a better bedside manner, let's put it that way. That's a lot of junk. That's a whole lot of junk. But you see, like, again, like this Mega Perek, who was well liked, seemed to do her job really well. Seemed to have her fingers on the pulse of everything. She was eventually pushed out of the company because of the CM Punk stuff. There's another. This is going to be like this will probably be like an unsung. I don't want to use the word victim, but an unsung loss to the company because of all of Phil's fucking nonsense. Instead, you get Chris Peck. Was that? Yeah, who does sound like a pit bull lawyer. Jackass. You know, I understand where it's like again, like maybe there's just, my main issue here is that I don't understand how Jamie Hahn becomes AEW's responsibility. That's the only thing that I'm being very objective. Like, I think it's like, I don't think it's a bad thing that they looked out for her. Absolutely not. I think it's actually it's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's the right thing to do. But how much is it their responsibility? This didn't happen like while Whitmer was working. Like, it didn't happen on location somewhere. It happened in their home, and it's a disaster, and it's awful. You know. Now, but the situation though is that if Perek is feeding Chris Peck information, and Chris Peck is taking the information and feeding it to Whitmer's lawyers without being subpoenaed or, you know, like having any legal recourse, you know, to get the information, that is 10 tons of bullshit though. Like that, I feel that's untenable, and I really feel bad for her. Like, she's in a really, really shitty situation. I hope things work out for her. They should be trying to beg Mega Perek to come back at this point. You know, Phil is gone, Mega. Don't worry. He's gone now. Everything's chill now. This Peck guy, man, he doesn't do it for me. Sounds like an asshole to me. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on this. I understand it better, but again, like, I don't understand, like I said, not quite sure how much this is AEW's responsibility, but then again, there might be very legal things in regards to corporate law that make AEW liable for certain things. Like, I don't know. And I don't quite understand why she's homeless, which is terrible. Don't get me wrong, but you'd like to understand why that happened. Anyway. Pedro the Fifth, nice to see you. Really shows that AEW sounds like a startup company even after 5 years. Oh, yeah. They're going to be a startup company forever. No, but that is unless they're probably going to die in 2025, right? That's probably what's going to happen. I'm not expecting them to buy her a house, but at least get her from point A to point B. Yeah. And the getting to point B seems to have been a fucking disaster, which she didn't need, right? I agree. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like there's scope of this that's still, there's a scope to this that's still missing, And I think it's fine if people want to help her out. Like she does sound like it does sound like she's in a terrible spot. The new goalpost is 2028. No, I know. There's people like doing call-ins and being like, so, they have this deal till 2028, but AEW could be canceled in the meantime, right? They want it to fail so bad. These are not wrestling fans, though. They're not wrestling fans. These are not people who like wrestling. People who want, who want wrestling promotions to shut down. They're not wrestling fans. It's like, we're back doing that with TNA, right? We're back doing that with TNA now. Going back to TNA, and we're all the way back to that with TNA. They're making terrible moves, and I can't imagine they're gonna survive this time. It's like, people who wish the demise of wrestling promotions are weird, are just weird, and are not wrestling fans. They just want their team to win. So that's not a wrestling fan to me. BJ Whitmer will see Chris Benoit and Jimmy Snuka very soon, and Pat Patterson. Quite the crowd. Quite the crowd. You know who's on Thursday nights? The Love Wrestling guys. My good pals at Love Wrestling. Wrestling. Jesus, Warren. Oh, I can't spell for... How did... Love Wrestling. All right, it's CA. I keep forgetting the CA at the end. There we go. And they're live right now.
As they come. So,
Who are all these people?
So you packed some dinners with the guy. So what?
I'm like, oh, I'll probably come in and see my
Exactly.
I'll take a look at my boys here. Who are all these people? You got the beards here. You got JPJ. You've got Pluggo. I know who Drew is. Drew's chill. I don't know who are all these people? Who are all these people? I mean, is this a beard? The ex Dan Brown? Is that a beard? I was like, we'll go see what's happening. Because Pluggo right here in the top middle, Pluggo, and this is a shoot, by the way. He has a Christmas tree in every room in his house because his wife really loves Christmas and she loves Christmas trees. And this is absolutely a shoot. So there's like one in the living room, there's one in the kitchen, there's one in the living room. Like there's a I think there's one in their bedroom. There is a Christmas tree in every one of his in every one of the rooms of his house. So I'm like, so I was like, well, maybe they're talking about that. What are they talking about?
Okay.
So what?
Yeah.
If I would have stumbled, if somebody from up
If
there
you would have stumbled and fell, I'd be like,
dead.
so what? Get to work.
Yeah, I would have been down there dead, and Ella would have been like, "Should we go check on JPJ?" And Pluggo would have been like, "So what?
So what?
So what? We got to go to SummerSlam tomorrow."
Yeah, so what? He'll be fine.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's
I don't know what they're talking about. It's fine. I just know they're talking about Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Oh, they weren't. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance. There's a good chance at how. Yeah, what do they call what did someone in the audience at the thing call Liv, like a little child, something like that, something to that effect? Everyone was talking about that. They should live on Christmas Island. And yes, there's really is a Christmas Island. Yes, there is, but it's not Christmassy. But you know, it's not like Santa Claus's Southern retreat or whatever.
COVID Xavier hanging out with him at the desk. It goes both ways. Why aren't you hanging out with your boy? Why weren't you packing meals for the homeless in Cleveland with your boys? No, you weren't. You were off fighting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was no power of positivity.
And I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, where were you
Big
hanging
E,
out at the post show?
For a lot of those PLEs this year, Big E was the only one of those three that was traveling. Because they really weren't on a lot of those.
Okay. Okay. It's stuff that that goes above my head. I'm not quite sure. That's not my thing. That's not quite. That's not quite the thing. For me, anyway. It's fine. If they want to talk about it, that's fine. That's fine with me. Oh. Premium live event. We're going to stop using the term PLE. It's fun to use it ironically, I find. Like I find like it's fun to use ironically. PLE, you know. I'm so sad that it doesn't look like Big E will ever return to wrestling. Don't get too sad. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just wait till just wait. You just wait. Anyways, Commander 2025, baby. Is that his year? Is that his big year? Because Bandito's coming back. We might have to stall on that Commander 2025 push, because Bandito's coming back and Bandito's getting the push. Bandito is getting the push. I'll tell you one thing: Commander's looking pretty good these days. I'll tell you that. I think he's gotten much more tighter, like an overall finished product, I guess. Looking good. Looking pretty good. But as far as this push goes, looks like Bandito's coming up. He's gonna be the luchador du jour. He's gonna be in Tony's crosshairs for a while. I'm on that hook and JYV copium for next year for breakouts. I mean, something has to happen with Hook, right? Something has to come together soon, right? I mean, Hook has improved. The Hook has legitimately improved, right? You can't sit around in bad, and really be in bad faith and say, no, he stinks. Hook stinks. Because he doesn't. Not anymore. Actually getting more comfortable with the promos. I'm not saying, again, like he's not Roddy Piper here. But, he's getting more comfortable. Might just be a long-term prospect here. Anna Jay is also coming around slowly but surely. I said in the Dynamite review that I watched earlier today, which of course you should give the old listen to. I was saying that it kind of dawned on me when commentary was talking about how, Anna Jay is considered to be, they were saying something to the effect, considered to be a homegrown talent, even though she was wrestling. She had wrestled a few matches on the independents, right, before getting the call. And it is true. Like, she had only wrestled like a handful of matches. Like, she was a literal rookie. And then coming into AEW, where she doesn't get to wrestle as often as if she had been wrestling on the independents, right? If she had stayed on the independent, like, just think about this. If Anna Jay had stayed on the independents a couple of more years and had really gone hard, what level of development would she be at now, as opposed to what they had her do, which was just wrestle once in a while? And I know she was a staple on Dark, but she'd oftentimes lose, and it's these 2 to 3 minute squash matches where you don't really apply anything. You're not really learning. You're not, it's not the same. It's not the same as, hitting the towns, going up and down, let's say the Midwest, and working in front of different crowds, different people. You've got 10 minutes. It's different, right? So you kind of wonder where she would have been at, where she'd be at today, if she had just stayed a little longer, just a little bit longer. Because you can't say she doesn't have the look. She has a great look. Charismatic. I think the little excursion in Stardom did her some good. Not going to sit here and say that she's transformed, But it's been good for her. It's been absolutely good for her. We're going to close down the poll here. Where are we at? 45%. Only 13% of y'all said you were watching Final Battle this weekend. Well, if you're not going to watch it, don't worry. Your boy Warren Hayes has got you covered. I got you covered. I'll watch it. I'll do a review. Then you can decide whether or not you want to watch it. How about that? What if my review over the weekend is like, greatest show of all time, drop everything, sign up to Honor Club? What if it's that? What if? You never know. You never know. That could be it. Or it could be not. It could also just be not. Would her magician powers have been more magical? Who knows? Like, she'd be pulling, rabbits and doves out of her hat. I feel some wrestlers risk getting complacent if they have no direct incentive to do reps on the indies or work Ring of Honor, etc. But yeah, I mean, what are the incentives really? And then it's like, do you want to do it? Do you want to go risk it? And then it's like, Tony Khan also has something to say about that. Like, AEW has something to say about that too. Like, we're not privy to all the inner workings of AEW as well. And you think like a guy like Nick Wayne would be out there more. Not as if it's not as if he's in the midst of any huge push. They don't use him all that often outside of, doing run-ins for Christian Cage and stuff. They're not having him wrestle. Maybe Nick Wayne is like, look, I am not going to go out there and risk getting hurt while I'm in this great spot here. There's also that. Like, there's so many factors, right? There's so many factors that can make up a wrestler's mind. Because it's fair assessments, right? I don't want to go out there and get hurt, for nothing, which is something that happens. And this has happened. And even like not even on indies, like on, New Japan shows, like, quote unquote proper promotions. Eddie Kingston, Mercedes Moné, it's like they got hurt on New Japan shows. It's like, fuck, But I feel Tony would want to send his younger wrestlers he's not booking on excursion. I would have a tendency to agree. I can also see Tony Khan saying, I can also see Tony Khan, the guy who suffered through the injuries of the first Forbidden Door. You remember that? Remember the first Forbidden Door and how the booking was all over the place and stuff was being pulled and rearranged and, ended up being a far cry from what the original plan for the Forbidden Door show was because of all the injuries that were occurring. I could see that guy suddenly sitting back and going, you know what? I don't want my people running around right and left anymore because then I can't book the compelling shows for my company that I want, I would say. That's the kind of thing that could give you a nice cold shower. You're like, nah, let's keep our people around for a little bit. I'm not saying that's what it is. We're just arguing for the sake of arguing here, right? Just like, because you're not wrong. Like, I would assume Tony would be like, well, can't I send a guy over for a month to wrestle in CMLL? Or, and he's done it in the past, right? He sent, Yuta had a Best of Super Juniors run, right? Mox had a run there as well. Like it's not unusual. But then there's also like the wrestlers themselves, right? There's also a lot of that. What do the wrestlers want? It's like people who immediately assume like that a wrestler that gets big in Japan is going to come wrestle in the US, and it's like maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to uproot their life and move to a strange country to wrestle. And sometimes the money might be alluring, but there's not just money, and that just depends on the wrestler. Look at Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito has always been fervent. It's like I'm never moving. I'm never wrestling for an American promotion. Never, ever, ever. I want to. My home is Japan. I'm living in Japan. I'm doing it in Japan. And there you go. Okada, sure, he got the allure, but he has a lot of American friends, and he was a guy who liked the American side of things. Look at Tomohiro Ishii. He probably calls the office, the New Japan office, every day saying, hey, do you got me booked for the next few months? Yes. Ah, shit. And he hangs up. And he calls back the next month. Hey, you got me booked for the next few months? Yes. And he goes, ah, shit. And he calls him up again the next month. Hey, you got me booked for the next couple of months? And they say, no. Oh, great. And then he calls up AEW. He calls up Rocky. And he's like, Rocky, I'm available. And the vice versa is the same as well. Because often we'll say in North America, just go to Japan. They'll be great in Japan. But it's the same situation. They have to uproot everything. Strange country, strange culture. It's like, and it's not just about, there is a life outside of the fucking little ring that they slap themselves around in. I was at the first Forbidden Door when I purchased the tickets. I was much more excited about the card than what the final card ended up being. Yeah, I mean, yeah. that was the story of the first Forbidden Door. And it was injury plagued. I did hear Wrestle Purist say some younger guys don't want to work Ring of Honor because it's late and there's no mechanism for Tony to make them do it or get out. Interesting. Because it's late. Interesting. Why would anyone want to wrestle in the stage, much less live here? Yeah. You gotta provide a really good pitch these days. Hopefully your pitch deck to get people to move is good. And Japanese wrestling is not as lucrative as it used to be, no. Well, I mean, it's like there were days that were better than this, truly. But I mean, it's not a you know, it wasn't like these tremendous salaries either, you know. Wasn't these tremendous. You'd go there mostly for the experience, for the recognition, for the, you know, the vibe, especially if you could hang there. You know, I don't think Nick Nemeth's New Japan run did anything for his credentials, for his credibility. Anywho, we're gonna wrap this up for tonight. So remember, next week I will be here on the 23rd for Monday. That will be the last stream before Christmas. I will not be streaming on Christmas Eve, and then it'll be a play it by ear type of situation next week. We'll see what happens with the MrWarrenHayes show itself. There will be a Dynamite review, but I don't know if it'll be on Thursday. Maybe it'll be on Friday, but there will be a Dynamite review before World's End. That's for sure. There'll probably be a stream on the 26th. Again, that's a little up in the air depending on how my business with my family goes. We'll see. We'll see how all that comes together. But we'll have a chance to wish each other a very Merry Christmas on Monday. If not, if you won't be there, well, Merry Christmas right now. Hope you have a great Merry Christmas. And we'll see each other before the New Year. So we'll wish each other a Happy New Year in a couple of days. How about that? But in the meantime, thank you all very much for showing up tonight. It was a great night, great chat. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys and gals and non-binary pals had fun too. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. Go watch some Randy Orton and get back to me, and see you next time.